G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer. It's that time of the week where I get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I share the mic with my two idiot mates. Once again though, we are a man down, promised that this is the last week. So let's bring in the other bloke.
Come on.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
He promised, mate, he promised.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Mr. Nick Boyce, welcome
Mate,
to the show.
big week for you, the monicus that you are, obviously with the passing of Her Majesty.
Right.
I'm just wondering what the process is up there in Queensland. You got to get everything changed, all your addresses, everything, to Jordan Spencer.
Kingsland.
Minyama, Kingsland.
Yeah, Kingsland. Yeah. No, I don't know. Actually, I think there is destined, Lady Diana Spencer. I think the Spencer blood is in there, but way down. But I'm sure the Bice blood's just as well in there as well.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to get a call up.
Yeah. No, thanks, mate. No, thanks. I'm fine. Oh, dear. Right. Well,
good, mate. And you're a bit injured at the minute?
Oh, sailing career, did some damage. So fourth surgery on the knee. So just come out of that a couple of days in. So sitting here all wrapped up. Yeah. Hopefully I can.
And on any good drugs?
I haven't taken them yet. It hasn't been too painful.
Save them.
Yeah.
Next time I come up.
Yeah.
Bison Spencer, we're out.
Yes. Many good sporting careers ended that way. Oh, dear. Cool. What about you, mate? Anything exciting?
No, it's literally had a few weekends off, which is good, between the volunteer roles of, kids footy and stuff.
Yeah.
And about to launch into the other volunteer roles of sailing season. So
yeah. Your poor defender must just take a hammering, mate. You know how? Oh, I guess it's your RAA membership that takes the hammering. Isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. No, so we're just ramping up here. All the boats are kind of just getting ready.
Yep.
The weather is still shithouse at the minute, so hopefully that turns at some point in time. Don't have to talk to you about in Kingsland. It's beautiful one day, perfect the next.
Yes.
So
it is. It's absolutely glamour out there. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I reckon we need to get our guests in because I'm really fired up about this episode. This is going to be a good one because, we've been focused in on a lot of events, but the one event we haven't been focused in on is the America's Cup. It's 2 years away now, and as of yesterday, they're allowed to sail the 75s. Like, there's been, if you read the protocol, then they haven't been allowed to sail the 75s till yesterday. So we wanted to sort of fire up on that one. And of course, the Barkarati non-curse, where people that come on the show, things just go better and better for them. We had a guest on episode 81 who was the boat captain of American Magic, New York Yacht Club American Magic team. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, he's the chief operating officer. Life just goes stronger and stronger for him. He's got another kid on the way. Everything's non-stop. Maybe that's the other thing that happens when you come on BK, mate. More babies. But anyway, he's a good mate of ours. We've known him for a long, long, long time, and we want to get him back on the show because he's right there in the know. So welcome back to the show, Tyson Lamond. How are you, bud?
Good. Thanks for having me, fellas. It's good to be back on. Hopefully we don't have any big incidents a few weeks after this one.
Well, it's time.
What is that? Is that having more kids, or you might be CEO? Who knows?
Either of the above.
Either of the above. Yeah, that'd be a tough job being CEO. I reckon. I'd do my head in. Mate, Wern, congratulations. There's a lot of things happened since we last spoke to you, obviously. Baby Jordan born, which is great. Love your taste in name.
Yeah.
You knew that was coming. COO role, though, mate. That's a big deal. How are you feeling, mate? You're just going from strength to strength.
Yeah, good. I mean, we're super lucky here with the team that we have around us. And we sort of finished up in Auckland. And as everybody knows, it wasn't the result we were looking for. Mm-hmm. We then went into a big internal debrief and looked at areas that we could strengthen the team moving into this next America's Cup, and sort of, few of the outcomes out of it, changed a few roles in the team. And then we all really spent the next 3 to 6 months chipping away in our areas and sort of looking at how we're going to do it better for AC37. We took on a new CEO, Mike Kaiser, with the team, who's been amazing. And Terry obviously spearheads, overall the team and all the sailing operations. And, I was very fortunate when they asked me to take on this role. And, like the day-to-day and everything that we've got going on with all the sailing is very similar to what I used to do. Obviously, it just adds a few more layers to it. But, I feel really good, and we've got an amazing team around us. And as always with these roles, you can only do it if you've got good people around you. And so that's really good.
No, I was going to ask Ty, what's changed apart from the pay packet? You ran the show anyway, right?
More stress.
Well, I guess I've got more children at home so that's definitely changed.
Too much time on his hands, hey?
But no, the big thing for us is getting back on the water, going sailing. And as Jordan said, we're allowed to be sailing today in the States or yesterday in New Zealand. But the biggest thing that's really holding us back here is we're still sitting in hurricane season in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few swirling around, but at the moment, touch wood, everything's going to go up the east coast and out to sea, and we'll all be good, and we can get on the water and go sailing.
So, I guess the first point, and don't give away secrets that you can't, but you're only allowed to build one boat for this iteration of the event. You're not under build yet, are you? Like, you want to be doing some sailing at Barcelona, or you've already done all the research out there and you know what you're in for?
So I don't think anyone is building a race boat right now, and everybody's building parts and testing boats and testing equipment. Obviously, with the AC40 coming in and, sort of taking some of the pressure off the teams to build testing boats in-house. So far so good. McConaughey's doing really good work with these AC40s, and look, we'd love to have our boats tomorrow. But we also understand that, you receive your AC40, by your entry, and we're the last team to enter. So our AC40s, will arrive next year. And so besides that, everybody's just busy chipping away and, working on their own path, shall we say. And we know some of the teams have built their own smaller test boats, and that's sort of the path they've chosen. And we're going down a different path. And as always with these cycles, we're not going to really know who's chosen the right direction for the next 2 years. But certainly where we sit and, based off things that were going on with the event and when we entered, we didn't really have a choice early on.
Yep.
What is that direction? Basically waiting till you get the mule or whatever they call them now, the AC40, or you still got some assets left from the last campaign? No,
we're going to go back sailing in Patriot, our boat that we raced in Auckland.
Oh, the 75, yep.
And, that's what we've been working on for the summer out here, and very much, looking forward to getting back on the water. And it's been great to see Alingi, get their boat one out there and getting on the water with the big boats. And, I imagine they're down a little similar path to us because of the fact that they're a little bit lower down the pecking order with receiving their AC40.
Yeah. Well, the thing that interests me, though, like when we were at the last Cup, there was it looked to me like there was sort of two different camps of design. You guys in one camp, the Italians and the Kiwis in the other camp. Has that changed? Has your thoughts changed on the boat design based on what you saw there, or is that too far into the private information?
I think it'll be interesting. You'd like to think a second generation of the rule, everybody will be a lot closer in the corner of the rule. There have been changes. You're allowed a little bit bigger span. The boats are a little bit lighter. So for sure, there are going to be changes. But you imagine version 2, hopefully, it's a lot more of a sailing race and we're all in similar path. obviously with our boat one last America's Cup, we're a long way behind. And, to be fair, obviously things didn't end up well for Patriot, but, we still believe that it was a good boat. Clearly it was motored for a little bit less breeze, and those few weekends that we were racing, floating in the water, certainly wasn't great for the boat. But, I think it'll be very different America's Cup in Barcelona than what we had in Auckland. We're very lucky in Auckland, besides that one day, that we sailed off Taka. A lot of it was sort of in the harbour entry and off the bays, which is quite flat water.
Yeah.
So I think, everybody's realising just from looking at the photos of Alinghi sailing in Barcelona that, I imagine that the sea state and the Barcelona conditions are really going to come into it this time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that opens up the whole discussion, because it really dives in. If you'd start talking that stuff, I reckon there's a lot of foil elements to get, a lot of experimentation in your foils, and also I reckon your rig's going to be pretty critical as well, and there was definitely some differences in your rig design as well when we look back on 36. And things like, are you going the under deck boom and all that sort of stuff? Is that, that aerodynamic efficiency that the other team seem to have? Is that something that you guys are, or the whole setup of inside the rig? Is there more control in there as well with the double panel?
It's an interesting thing, because now, you're basically not allowed an upper control system. So some teams had them, some teams didn't. Some pushed that path all the way to the end, others didn't last America's Cup. But effectively, all of that's gone in the rule now.
Yep.
So you're only really allowed to play with the lower zone, shall we call it?
Right.
So I imagine, that might simplify some things, but it'll also add some complexity down low to, which path people go down. Obviously, the Code Zero is completely off the table, which is great, and for sure the right decision. Helped take a lot of weight out of the boat, and structure in areas that we didn't need it. The rigs are gone runnerless now, which, clearly Lina Rossa did some sailing with it early on in Auckland last Cup, and they proved that it was doable. And, that's a new part of the One Design rules. There's quite a few things like that.
Yep.
That in some ways have simplified the boats.
Yep.
But I'm with you. I really think, that there's going to be big step-ons this Cup in the aero world, and it'll be interesting to see where we all end up.
Do you reckon those changes bring everyone closer together, or just makes you concentrate on other things and push the boundaries in those areas more?
Yeah, I think the latter, because for sure there's a lot of openings in, the lower zone and what you can do. And so this, to be fair, when we all left Bermuda and got into these boats for the last Cup, everything they were doing was trying to keep it as close as they could to a wing. And to be fair, if you look at, some of the sail shapes that some of the guys set up and how some of the teams took off, like certainly in the light air, Lina Rossa and Team New Zealand package looked really good. The way that they could camber up the foot of the main and take off, hats off to them. They did it really well. And, as everybody knows, Patriot was certainly motored up range, and there's advantages of having the system that we had last America's Cup, of that. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see the version 3, shall we say, of these boats. And the other big thing this time is you don't get a second chance. We're only going to build one race boat. And so by the time everybody, by late next year, everybody has to be building race boats. And, by the time everybody's into that, you've sort of made your bed in a lot of areas.
Yeah. But, I mean, that just tells me that the focus was going to be so much more on foils and your rig, so there is going to be a huge amount. And I guess that's what you guys are doing right now, is that whole, are we ever going to see the boat sailing with the same foil on each side for the next year? You know what I mean? Like there will always be a different foil being tested, is what my gut feel is. Is that true, do you reckon?
Well, what's interesting is the foil cards. So you're only allowed to do a certain amount of foils. So with your AC40 or um your 12-meter boat, shall we call it, you're only allowed 4 foil lengths. So everybody, that's all they've got, and the one design ones don't count as they shouldn't, because that's for all the fast racing. So all the teams will sort of have their first stab there that hopefully will put them into the direction of where we all end up. But it'll be a little bit different to last time, because last time, we could actually do a lot of foils. We did 3 sets on Defiant. I think we probably did 3 or 4 sets on our Mule. So certainly there's less this time.
Yeah. So having done all that before, it gives you an advantage, because you've got a lot of that data. And that's protected data, isn't it? You don't have to share that. So, you've got some advantage from that research.
Yeah, I certainly feel, as an established team, shall we say, and obviously, of the established teams, we're the newest team, and certainly Doug and Hap have a big vision for this team. But it is only our second cycle now. So yes, we are fortunate that we have all the data from the last cycle, from all of those foil wings, and hopefully the ones we do this time are a lot faster though.
Yeah.
Hey, Ty, before we talk about go fully in depth with all the recruits and stuff for the next cup, leaving Auckland, apart from the crash, of course, after the manoeuvre, which is now known as the Dino. If there's a few things that you could have changed with the boat, what would they be, you reckon? Were there glaringly obvious ones, or it's just so close to the top of the triangle, it's hard to pinpoint?
I would have changed the weather a bit more than the boat, guys. I'm in Patriot. The Defender, no question, there is an amazing upwind boat. I mean, everybody saw it. In the match, Prada did such a good job to do what they did. And they obviously sailed the pants off their boat, and they were clearly motored one side, and the Defender was fast.
Port or starboard?
But certainly Patriot was a very good boat, sort of above 12 knots. So we wouldn't have, you wouldn't really change anything there. I think if you said, okay, what's one thing you would have changed? Certainly we could have done some more moting for the lighter air takeoffs.
Yeah.
Because, in the race course, yes, you can end up under North Head, and, you can end up in a lull coming out of a jive, and, that you're done.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of the foiling racing we're in now. But, you guys know the same thing with the Around the World race. Everybody's sort of motored for their conditions. And when we saw Patriot in its condition, it's still the fastest AC75 top speed in the world.
Yep.
And that's for a reason, because that was sort of the corner of the rule that it was in.
Yeah.
A little ironic, isn't it? Like, we build these boats, the boats are designed for the spectator side of it, and the difference being between foiling and non-foiling. The whole idea is to see the boats foiling, right?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody tricky.
Well, I mean, what you're trying to do is drive your average speed up. So you want to try and have the highest average speed, and easiest ability to sail. And I think the ability to sail the boat simply, you said the boats are going to be a little bit simpler, which is good. And, what I'm hearing, Tyson, is, you've got one area of the moting pretty spot on. So, from a development perspective, it's, gives you confidence. You can just focus in a little bit on one zone, and then, just drive that average speed up, and away you go. So, you're in a good spot is probably the best thing. I'm interested, before we do go down the personnel side, we didn't talk on things like the battery technology and any of that sort of stuff. Is there anything like that that's changed, like from your boat? Like, I have to ask the question, have you thought about if the boat has a big crash, all the gear down below is not going to go punching through the side of the boat? That's an obvious question.
Yeah, we'll keep the batteries strapped down, mate. I can assure you.
No, but I just wonder, there must be some of the. Or what about your grinding platform? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna put, is it just upper body or lower body?
Mate, it's open, and it'll be interesting where everybody ends up and where they go, and certainly let's remember the crew's down to 8 now. So as you guys know, we're going to try to do everything we could always do, but we've got less guys. So certainly, we need to provide, more power. And the last 6 months, the athletic side of the team have done an amazing job, recruiting and finding, new guys, sort of the next level of grinding. So I think that'll be an interesting development path. And I'm sure that, the media will love, the way everybody's going to go there. And it'll be really interesting what kind of athlete ends up on board these boats in AC37.
I'll tell you who you should get. And it's a pity he doesn't have another passport, but young Bice there, mate, if you want a lightweight who can punch it out on a bike, Bice, you were pretty strong for a while there, mate.
Well, I'm just actually waiting for the worlds to align, ready for my comeback, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, you need another passport.
Combining the two sports.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Like, I wonder, because, as you said, Tyson, you're going down into body numbers to 8. What about weight? Has that changed with it? I haven't read in depth the protocol, so.
Yeah, the average is, effectively scaled. So, it's similar average. So I imagine everybody's going to be like last America's Cup, where effectively, you got your light guys in the back, and then your bigger guys are grinding. And it was really interesting how some of the teams did it in New Zealand. Like, let's have a look at Ineos that were next door to us. Effectively, all of their guys would grind, really, the way they split the boat up. And they had certainly the most different grinding system to any of the teams last America's Cup. But I honestly believe that, power-wise and requirements, everybody's going to have to step it up a lot from Auckland to be able to get these boats around the track.
Right.
Which
is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's no assistance with any sort of stored energy and stuff in that regard compared to last Cup, or basically you just got to just grind your way around the course?
It's the same as the last Cup with the foil can system. So effectively we get that for free.
Yep.
But everybody gets that. But then on the grinding side, you're on your own. And if you look at the boats from Bermuda, you got to the end of the race and you saw where the guys were at, and you looked at the boats in New Zealand, it was certainly different.
Yep.
And I expect this time to be a lot more like Bermuda, that, the guys are going to put everything on the paddock to get these things around, and I think that's great. It's good for the sport at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. It is like it. I mean, it was a good event, and it's promising to be a great event. One thing specific to the Cup, not necessarily your team, is that when I did read the protocol, there was no provision for the bar karate barge to be in the middle of the course. It's a bit of concern.
Well, I do remember that idea, Jordan. I think it's a great idea. It'd be great for the sponsors.
I agree. I think, look, there's a fair chance it could happen, to be honest, because we did actually get an incredible response. And when Ian Murray said, yeah, go for it. And I'll be honest, Ian Murray's a massive fan of the show. So I think we've got a chance. And,
Vice, I reckon your best person to call on that is Dick. He's certainly got the key to the city there. So that's your contact.
I could see it happening. Bit of fun in Spain. We need to.
We could do some barge jousting in between.
All right. Well, the one thing, so now we need to get into the sailing element, and the biggest change is clearly the 100% rule on nationality. That how it breaks down, but basically, it's changed the team significantly.
Yeah, a little bit. So everyone that sailed with us in Auckland could still sail for American Magic.
Correct.
Yeah.
So all of the teams effectively have that card. So, we're very, very fortunate, with a guy like Goody sail the boat in Auckland and can still be carded. And then if they didn't sail in Auckland, they have to have an American passport, which is pretty straightforward. So, for us, the big thing is big picture and going forward. And so certainly, we're bringing in a lot of, younger American Olympic sailors on board.
Yep.
And obviously trying to build them up and also trying to learn from them. And then, in the back of the boat, we certainly had some big calls to make. And, Hap and Doug were really supportive of the path that, we chose to go down, and we feel really good about it.
Yeah, well, let's talk the big name. I mean, obviously, your good friend Dean has stepped aside, and in comes the ginger in demand. Slingers, mate, what a name to sign up.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously, Dino and I have worked together for a long time, and we're still very close mates. And I guess it's a sport, and this is how things go down. And it certainly doesn't change anything with us.
No.
But as a team, we got to a position that we had to decide, okay, what was the best way to go forward, not only for AC37 but for AC38 in the future.
Yep.
And the decision was made to bring Tom in, which is amazing. And we're super lucky that he was able to sail for America, which is fantastic. And as you guys can see, everything he's been doing over the last few years, I feel really strong knowing that we're going to have Tom and Goody in the back of the boat. If only if it was a moth regatta, we'd be in great shape.
It is interesting. I'm intrigued how that's all going to play out. Like, you're going to have a skipper on each side. Are you going to have a battle to the death to see who's going to be skippering? Is it one's going to be tactical and they're going to swap around? Or I'm really interested. I don't know Goody well, but I know Slingers pretty well, and he's a determined prick.
They're very similar, yeah. and it's really interesting working with them, and I've worked with both of them quite a bit over the years now, and a lot of their personality traits are very similar. And if you look at both of their careers and the paths that both of them chose are very similar. And I think it's great for us. We're certainly going to have a big battle back there, and redheads tend to do well in the America's Cup. So I think having two of them right at the back of the boat is a good thing.
Yeah. The power of the ginger, mate. It's unreal, isn't it? It's just like a dream. You're going to have a huge fan base just because of that fact. The gingers are supportive.
They one of their own, right? They'll only support their own. The nations do not matter. Yeah. You're going to have a lot of Irish supporters for this team for sure.
I love it. Yeah, that must have been. I kind of got inside info, but that must have been a tough negotiation to bring in. Or was it just easy? Pick up the phone and away he went.
No, and the cool thing about Tom is, at the time that was going down, he was doing a lot of TP sailing against Terry, and they sort of got to know each other quite a lot more. And really, Terry was a big driver of, he thought this was the best path forward for us for the future. And, hands down, you look at the year that Tom had last year and you look at the year that he's having now, and he's still leading Sail GP, and, him and Terry are beating it out at the TP52. I wish he'd give Doug a few more crosses. That would help things. But it's really good, and we're looking forward to getting Tommy on the water with this boat, because obviously it's quite different to what he's been sailing. But you look at those guys, and it doesn't matter what boat they get in. The cream always rises to the top. And if you think about it, you look at a lot of these guys. There's a lot of guys in the Cup right now driving these boats that are either laser or fin sailors, which is such different sailing to what we're doing. But obviously the good sailors always come through.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So the sailing side's one. How about the rest of the structure of the team, Ty? Like from the top down, from the owners with Hap and Doug and all those sorts of things. How's all that look?
Yeah, really good. And, we're super happy and lucky that, Doug and Hap have a big long-term vision of, putting American sailing back on map. And so, as when they just started to re-sign in the New York Yacht Club, they did it for 2 America's Cups because, their vision is not only are we trying to do this, but we're also trying to build, sporting franchise so that at the end of this America's Cup, we're strong going into the next one and they can keep developing on that. As we've seen, has been very strong with some other teams over the past. So really good to have their support, and they're certainly, and I obviously notice it a lot more now, but, those guys are really hands-on, and they've both spent time down here with us this summer, which is great for all the guys on the floor to see. So we're very lucky there. And then, even with the design team, our design team is a lot more American than it was last America's Cup. We're really lucky to have Scott Ferguson leading the group. Kurt Jordan's still leading our structural team as he did last time. And, a lot of the key guys, Aaron Perry, they're all guys that we had with us in the last America's Cup. So, all of those things help us hit the ground running, and, we all know each other. So on so many levels there, that's great. And Brandon Linton from Australia is going to run our boat building production again. So on that side of it, super lucky. Brandon builds an amazing boat, and his attention to detail, second to none. And then we've got Mark Allenson, who sort of runs our mast production and foil production. So a lot of those, key pillars of our team are back with us, and things like, scheduling and building new boats. They've done these boats and masts and foils. So things like that, it gives us a lot of confidence in knowing that we're going to put a good product out when we leave the shed.
And what's the timelines with all those to set up in Barcelona, building new boats, sailing the AC40? Is that all still up in the air, or you're pretty locked in?
No, we're pretty locked. There's one thing in the rule which I'm not so sure if you guys have noticed, that next year, if you want to sail your AC40 during the summer, certainly you have to be in Barcelona. Mm-hmm. So that's going to move all the teams to Barcelona. So we'd love to stay and sail in Florida as long as we can, but effectively, as much as Pensacola is an amazing home for us, we need to go to Barcelona next summer, and we equally looking forward to that. So. We have been given our base position, and we're working away in the background on our base build out there. And the team will set up to sail all next summer in Barcelona. And at that point, I imagine everybody will be 2-boat testing in their 40-footers.
Yeah.
Which will be good because it's, obviously in the Cup, it's been a while since 2-boating has really happened. And in Bermuda, teams were sort of linking out, but it wasn't your traditional 2-boat testing. So I think being able to be in Barcelona next summer with all the other teams doing that, I think it'll be great.
It's interesting because you'll go from Pensacola, then you've got your marina in the super yacht thing, Barcelona 92, then you go to your facility at Port Vell, I guess. One of the things that I've read was your CEO, he's talking about building the brand, and you've just mentioned it in your previous comments. So this is an ongoing program by the sounds of it. You guys you've invested that time. You've got the program. Sounds like you're getting a lot of good people tied in. You talked about that with the team. You're not just talking 37, you're talking 38. So this is a long-term thing, which is great for you as well. Obviously, the other advantage is, the best brand in the world for corporate engagement when you do get all the big sponsors wanting them to give them the time of your life. 2 of your good mates just on the phone to you right now, probably the 2 best guys in the world. So, you guys are really well set up.
Might not make any money out of it.
Yeah, but you hit the nail on the head, Jordan. Certainly we're looking at this as a big picture. Yeah. And bringing sailing to America and building a franchise. And Doug preaches it better than anybody. All the NBA teams work together to make their franchises more successful. Yeah. And why can't we do that in sailing? And the more successful we build all of our franchises between all the teams, it's only going to be better for our sport. And certainly sailing, over the years has sort of been, kicking each other down a rung, which I'm not so sure that helps all the teams overall. And if we look at it in a big picture sense of, okay, how can we grow the brand and grow the sport? that helps all of us, and it helps all the kids on the beach, and it's sort of the trickle down effect. And we're focusing really hard on that. And as we're doing here in Florida, school tours and bringing kids into the base and giving access to kids that probably never even heard of what sailing is, to see these boats and see some footage and go, wow, that's amazing. How do we get into sailing? And we're very well supported by the local yacht club here and with their program. And so the more that we can do to bring more kids into our sport, I think the better.
Yeah, well, I mean...
When I hear the word franchise in America, I'm thinking hats.
Oh.
Have you got a good hat supplier? You're a bit of a hat man yourself, Ty. So have you been running, got a good hat supplier online ready to go?
I laugh because I got into a position that I was able to choose the hat, shall we say. And it's quite a good... So our boat captain out there, you guys know, I'm sure Mason, we've worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
He does a great job out there. And so we came up to the hat selection, and I didn't even want to show them to him. I just decided to make a decision without it getting to the floor. and it got to the floor, the new hat, and there was probably 50-50 split as always.
Yeah.
So we've got the two models, Spice and the new line, and I feel like it sort of caters to everybody across the board now. But the original flat hat that we brought out earlier this summer, I think was amazing.
The flatter, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, the minute you started talking hats there, Tyson, I've gone, I'm definitely in the other side of the camp to the one you're gone. I know that I would have been in the other 50, that's for sure.
Jordan would have gone the bamboo visor.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I ran my whole program. Yeah. I got 10 of those still running. I'm good. I think I was trying to think about what you were saying though, Tyson, with the bringing kids in, and like bar karate exists to bring more people in the sport as well, and the discussion about building brand, about building franchises. Obviously Larry and Russ and that Sail GP thing have gone down that path, and one of the thoughts I've been thinking of is how we describe the difference, because we're always, Bice, me, BP, we're always talking about sailing to people, and the easy description is Sail GP is Formula One now because it's going around, but it doesn't have the development in it, but it's still that. And I was trying to think how I could explain America's Cup at the moment, and it's kind of like building rocket ships nowadays, like you don't show up as often, but you're building some really high-tech crazy stuff. And so maybe you're kind of like, you should play up on the NASA thing, mate, because you guys are basically, you're building rocket ships.
Yeah, I think like Sail GP, I think what it's done for the sport has been amazing. They're getting in front of people and making people talk about sailing, and that's what we all want. It doesn't matter if you choose to go the America's Cup path or Sail GP, that's great for our sport. But I think fundamentally, you want to always be growing, you want to always be learning, and we always want to be at the cutting edge of the sport, and that's what the America's Cup is. And a big part of the America's Cup is developing the best boat. And it's not a sailing race 100%, as you guys know. The fastest boat always wins the America's Cup. And so based on that for me, that's the biggest attraction to the Cup is, right now, the decisions that we're making now when we're off the water are the pavers, shall we say, to winning the America's Cup. And Sail GP, certainly for the sailors on the one design side, I think it's an amazing tool, and I think it's great for our sport. But, I sort of look at the America's Cup big picture, and you think, imagine if we could get in an America's Cup cycle and be able to be testing back home and be racing, 3 or 4 events a year, every single year. I think that would be the ultimate. Because you think of F1, every time you guys turn on the F1 Sunday, you're thinking, what have they changed? Who's going to come out better? Who's got the straight line? Who's going to corner? And that's what's cool about the Cup. And when we watch Sail GP, amazing sailors and what they're doing with the race course, it's super cool. But we all know that the boat's the same. So you think about it, if you had 4 World Series a year, that people were able to do tweaks to these boats throughout the series, and you knew that at any series somebody could come out with an edge. For me, that's cutting edge of the sport.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest, mate. I don't give a toss what people sail, as long as people are sailing. You know, I love sailing at every level, and so from the perspective of the cup thing, I love it, mate. It gets me so excited to see it coming back. And what you're talking about, yeah, I'm pumped. You know, like love sail GP, just love it all. And you know, I see moth sailing or see kids out in their little opties. You know, it's all good. So yeah, I got as much. You know, I'm so hopeful that it works. Like what you're talking about would be just unreal. It's cool, and it's cool. These boats are cool, you know, and you know, reading the protocol, these boats are back for the next one as well. Everyone's signed on to that agreement, so you know, it allows you to invest in this and do this research without, you know, you're not throwing your money away.
Yeah, for sure, and I think the teams being able to agree to that. Is a great start, because you bring somebody new into sailing and you tell them what we're doing and tell them that at the end we've got no idea what we're going to be doing next time. And they're all going to sort of raise an eyebrow to you. But at least, you know, what Team New Zealand have done with this rule and being able to say, okay, we're signing into these boats for 2 cups, I think is a really good thing, because as you're bringing potential partners on board, they know what they're going to see next time and they know what they're in for.
Yeah.
So speaking of what we're in for, we got the Kiwis, Ineos, Alinghi, Luna Rosa, and you guys. Anyone else knocking on the door, Ty?
I mean, it's hard to know. There's always rumours in the cup world. I'll be honest, I struggle to see how anybody could start from here and get there. It's a mammoth task, and obviously last cup we were a new team, and you sort of see, you know, Alinghi's they're a new established team, shall we say, because obviously Alinghi's an amazing America's Cup brand, but going away and then coming back, you know, certainly a huge amount of work, and, you know, take your hat off to those guys for getting back in the ring, because it's awesome. But I just struggle to see anybody else coming in for this cycle. It'd be great to see another team where they start and build up, you know, later in this cycle to be ready to go for the next one. That would be great. But I personally struggle to see the runway for another team to come in now.
The entry fee,
yeah, it'd be tough, right?
Yeah, entry fee goes up too from this month. Like it goes up 100,000 every month from this month on, if as a late entry. So you know, it's a bit more than just doing your regular yacht race. So I think we're done and dusted, would be my guess. But as you say, it would be wonderful to see another team come in. But you've got some good teams.
Yeah, and this is the thing. We've got 5 teams that are all amazingly strong, you know, from the design across to what they're putting out there on the water. And it's not like in America's Cup that you can straight away go, oh, okay, you know, that's a weaker team, shall we say. Like every single one of these 5 teams could win this America's Cup if they get it right. And I think that's great. You know, it's good to be in, and putting these teams together and the amount of people it takes, you know, to keep them turning every day.
Yeah.
For me, that would be the biggest struggle of starting from today.
Yep.
And how about the move to Barcelona? Was that a no-brainer in your eyes to move to a much more populated area to take it away from New Zealand, or still something? I know you spent a lot of time in New Zealand, or something that you thought was a bit, what do you say? Doesn't win the pub test.
But I'll be honest, they want it. They can do whatever they like with it. You know, that's sort of the bottom line. And if we, you know, when we're lucky enough to win it, you know, we can take it wherever we like. But I think taking the event back to the Med is good for the sport. It's good for the sponsors. You know, it's good for the viewers, and everybody remembers what it looked like in Valencia. And I'm sure this event will be the same. And Barcelona, having been there on a site visit, you know, the city's buzzing about the America's Cup. You know, I get, you know, what the average Kiwi are sort of thinking about the event, but you know what Team New Zealand's done for New Zealand over the years and keeping them on the front of the map, I think it's been amazing for such a small country. And you guys look at Australia, the fact that Australia haven't even been able to get a team together. You know, it's hats off to them. And I think taking the event to Barcelona for this, you know, for AC37 is only going to make the event stronger.
Yeah. I mean, we're all looking forward to it. There's no question we're looking forward to it. The thing I want to know is that little incident with the Swiss team, that little weather system that hit.
The weather bomb.
Did that make you nervous?
Mate, I mean, whenever you leave the dock with these boats, you've always got to have that little bit of nervous in you, because otherwise you don't respect what you're doing out there. And as we've all seen, these boats can bite you at any time. Certainly, Alinghi, they're just getting started in this class and learning these boats, and I'm sure they'll pick it up really quick and they'll be up and sailing. But we certainly didn't expect to see them basically go out and hoist the sails and then be blown over on the way back to the dock at the end of the day.
No. that's a
So how about the venue, Ty, apart from the weather bomb? Is it the right venue, or a Valencia or Marseille or something would offer something a bit more stable? I mean, from memory, Barcelona is pretty stable, right?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was there for a sailing regatta, Bicey, you were there as well. Breeze-wise, it was good. It certainly was bumpy. I remember leaving the harbour there and the boats jumping off the bit of chop, and probably a little bit similar to Adelaide, shall we say, with that short, steep chop. But I think as a sailing venue, the sea breeze comes every day. So on all of that side of it, fantastic. Where the bottom mark is, I imagine that thing's going to be parked right up on the beach near the W Hotel, which is going to be great for the viewing. And I think it'll be a great sailing venue, as Valencia was. And you think about towns, like Marseille. I think one thing that I seem to notice more and more is there's less space at all these waterfront towns that we used to go to over the years. So a lot of these venues are getting harder and harder to go to because there's no space to physically, put the bases together. And that's where we're super lucky with Barcelona is, they've got a big seafront and there's areas that they're redeveloping that we're able to build these bases.
Are you concerned though? Like, let's be honest, we love Spain. A lot of great friends in Spain. When the racing's on in the afternoon, the sea breeze is blowing, everyone's going to be asleep.
Everyone's going home for a nap. But don't worry, they'll do it between 5 and 8 at night.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not too concerned about that. I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be honest, Jordan. What I'm most concerned about is Vicey knows I'm certainly an early morning activity guy, and I'm sure my lifestyle's gonna have to switch a little bit.
Oh no,
I like to be in bed before they're having dinner.
That's right.
I was literally explaining that last night. Someone was like, "What was it like to live in Spain?" I said, "Well, actually, on this odd occasion, I went to the shops at say 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night. Jeez, it's busy."
It's it is like it's exactly that, like everyone else is gearing up to go out and you're just sound asleep, and then they get grumpy with you because you leave at 5 a.m. and they're all just sort of trying to fall asleep. So it's bizarre. It is truly bizarre, but anyway, it's a good place, and for visiting, if you're a tourist, like it's a great place to go. Like you'll have an absolute ball. So from it's the same. New Zealand's a great place to go as well, but I would suggest that Spain's a whole lot cheaper than New Zealand for a lot of people. So the numbers will be huge, and it'll be good fun. Of course, there's the Youth Cup and the Women's America's Cup.
Maybe all the EasyJet flights will reroute from Bournemouth to Benidorm. They'll be going to Barcelona. Geez, it could be known as the cup with the most pommy buck shows ever.
Oh,
visited.
Yeah. Makes sense. So, Tyson, you're feeling good, mate? Like you think that? I guess the question is, who are the main threats? Is American Magic number one, and then who do you think, or is it just going off previous form?
Mate, I think at the end of the day, everybody has to respect the defender from what they've done.
Right.
And you look at all these teams, as I say, I think everybody could get it. And you look at the ties that Ineos and Alinghi have done with Formula One teams. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We've obviously seen that in the past in America's Cup teams.
That is interesting.
Luna Rossa, certainly they came through very strong in Auckland. So, if I had to pick a team, I don't think I could pick it. And sitting back there now, I feel like everybody's going to be strong. It'll be interesting when we go racing in the One Design boats, and sort of see how that pans out. If you guys think back to the Bermuda Cup, Ben won everything in the One Design boats, and then I think was fifth in the event. Obviously because the design wasn't there to where the sailing team were. So
yep.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, we just can't wait to get on the water and get out there and start sailing and start learning again. And it'll be great to take Patriot sailing throughout the winter and then launching the AC40 after that.
Yeah. With the whole branding thing, mate, like you're building this franchise, building the branding thing, I'm guessing that you're going to come up with a pretty flash paint job for the boat. Has there been a lot of thought gone into that yet?
Oh, I laugh in the background here thinking of Brandon. If I sent him this crazy looking paint job for the boat, what he would tell me. He would be very blunt, I think.
Well, the Yanks, you got a certain colour scheme, and I think, it's time for a change.
Yeah. Look, we're open-minded, with how the boat looks colour scheme-wise. Right now, it's certainly, the boats we did last Cup, we kept it all pretty simple. But let's see what the branding department sends us through. Some of the kit I've seen that they've designed is certainly, a little bit more fruitful, shall we say. So let's see where we end up, Jordan.
Okay, well, here's another one, right? So, the boats are your American names have always been, like Patriot is a classic example of the name. Whereas over in the UK, the Poms would bring out a new ferry and they did a public round and people could nominate and, the boat got named Boaty McBoatface or something, right?
McFerry face.
Have you guys thought about doing a public call out and getting people to involve that way and see what they come up with as a name? And I can just think some of the horror shows that'll come out. You can scrub out a few, but, something like that could be fun.
Mate, we haven't even thought about it yet, but, we do have an AC40 coming and we do need to start talking about it. What we might do at Smoko next week is sort of throw the bucket around and see what names get put in.
Yeah, maybe we could run a bit of a poll, Jordan.
Well,
we'll run a poll on the socials.
Get some
nominations.
What
name should the AC40? We'll come back to you on that.
Yeah, Tice. We'll do some hard work for you, mate. So, to listeners, this is where we're going, right? What name do you think? And just go wild, and then the team will vote on it. But what name would you like to suggest for the AC40 coming out? And look, I can guarantee if your name is chosen, we'll get you a cap. How's that? As a minimum.
As a minimum. And we'll work on Beyonce smashing the champagne bottle during the naming ceremony.
That's a good start, Bryce. I like that.
Oh, dear. Cool. Right, well, with what do we got? We're into that. We've got that done. So, what about other things for you, Ty? Is there anything else happening, mate, or are you totally zoomed in, apart from breeding more kids? But it's just totally zoomed in on this?
No more kids and very focused on work at the moment. I mean, obviously, I'm amazing, lucky that my wife, Chrissy, takes on the tribe at home, and we've just done another move, obviously, to come down to Florida, and the kids are all in school here. So at the moment, I'm tapped out. A little bit of trying to learn to wing foil, Jordan, which I see that you're doing a bit of that.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping over the winter months, as the breeze comes back here, that I can get up and going. But the problem is some of these young guys that we have just hired, it's so handy on these things that it looks so easy that you keep buying more kit thinking it is easy, but it's not.
Well, it's worth it though. Like, it's good fun. It's good fun. I think she's a glamour. Just ring Sandy, mate. He's got all the tips. He's my source of information.
He's forgotten me, mate.
No, not at all. He's the nicest bloke.
He is.
What I was going to say, there was something. With the kids going to Spain, obviously you're going to move over there. Will they? You expecting them to? They already got some Spanish, I assume, have they? Or because there's a lot of Spanish in the States.
Nah, my wife, she doesn't speak very much Spanish at all, actually. So when we go over there, it'll certainly be a bit of time adapting for the family. But they're looking forward to it. That's, my kids are sort of at an age that we can travel and it's still cool and they still enjoy it and they're not too upset about leaving their friends. So I sort of feel I can get away with it. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. It's been it's good. It's a great experience, So it's a good opportunity. You're living the dream, mate. For a lot of people, you've obviously fought hard to get to where you are. Start doing all the hard jobs, and you've got to quite an amazing position. And it sounds like it's going to be ongoing. So we couldn't be happy for you, bud.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and I appreciate you guys taking the time today, and we're very much looking forward to getting back on the water, and then maybe we catch up again in the new year.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start working on the barge situation, ready for Barcelona, and you never know, could get the boys to do a little flyby for us.
Mate, the barge towing the VB Express out of the course every day could be a great look.
Love it. Dear mate. All right, we'll leave you to it. Best of luck, buddy. And we'll look forward to chatting some more. I appreciate you giving us all this insight.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, Ty. See you, mate.
See you guys.
So literally a story of starting from picking up a broom.
Yeah.
To where Ty is now.
Yeah, true.
Actually, I think I said it during our episode when we spoke to him previously, but during the Ocean the Volvo in 2001, young Ty and Dylan Clark came to help us out with Amos Sports in Sydney.
Yeah.
And I remember
going over.
Remember ringing his old man because it was all about, if that kids, they're not getting paid, so they don't have insurance and stuff like that. And I rang Vince, his old man. Hey, Vince, what do you want to do about this insurance thing? Oh, if he falls off the bloody ladder, it's his own bloody fault.
Harsh,
no, but no, and to see, where Ty is now, it's just a credit to and a testament to just getting on with it, hard work,
and good bloke.
And,
good bloke. The way to fit
loves the banter.
Yeah, loves it
as well.
Yeah. I hope we're over in Barcelona because I tell you what, we could. It'll be a ton of fun. I reckon it's going to be a great event.
We got to go.
Cannot wait.
100%.
It's going to be unreal. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Ty. Been good catching up again, mate. I think the listeners would really love that one. A lot of information provided there. We got in a lot of getting a head start on the cup, getting fired up about it, and knowing what's coming up. Club events, mate.
Yes.
Got a note.
Club
here.
Events.
Got a note here on the Instagram, and you know how sophisticated we are on the Instagram, and it's from an EM Sanderco, EMSANDERCO. Has to be Matt Sanderco, doesn't it? So anyway, he suggested Barkarati Barge at the Muscat Cove Fiji Regatta. Now that's on literally right now. If you haven't put your hand up and had a look at that one, I'd jump onto it. So it's the Muscat Cove Fiji Regatta, 13 to 19 September. So it's basically finishing, I think, tomorrow. Lots of cruising boats just sailing around in beautiful tropical water. So if you're doing the South Pacific cruise, that's probably one to do. And I know the Outremer boats are doing a around the world thing, and they're in Fiji right now. So they're probably part of that, which would be cool. But yeah, so good one, Matty. I'm assuming it's Matt. I'm sure I've got it right. But yeah, it's a good one to be aware of. We should have to do that one too. Barkarati Barge. And I will tell you who liked it. Muscat Cove.
There we go.
So if you're listening, Muscat Cove, you just send us a little bit of a note and we're sweet. It'll be on. Love it. Gee.
And I did see one. I'm just trying to bring it up now. The rudder. What? Oh, Jesus. Excuse my memory here. I've got 8 different bloody Facebook pages I'm trying to open it up here.
Right.
The Silver Rudder event, 450 boats.
Yes,
I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's I remember we spoke about it last week, but that's up and running again this year.
Yeah.
And I saw a photo of all the boats stacked in.
Yeah.
You'd hate to be the first one at the dock because you're the last one getting out.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's more sailing. Unreal. Love it. Jack Lloyd, Listener of the Week. This is going to be a tough one. When I sat down to think of our listeners this week, I'm going, we didn't have that much that, and then I suddenly thought about it. We got one that I liked, which was the Chris Sizer sent in a spy photo of a boat on a crane, called Ginger, saying, is this the Ginga Challenge boat getting ready? And I saw it on the crane, didn't recognise it, and I thought, I might just Google Ginger, boats called Ginger yacht. Man, there's a lot of people call their boat Ginger.
Before we go anywhere, though, did your algorithms pick up on a few other things and give like an automated answer after that?
You know how boring I am, mate. No.
Ginger spreadsheets, right? Yeah, cool.
Anyway, I just did the Google on yacht Ginger, and there's a lot of people call their boat Ginger, which is a big surprise to me. So, but there's some cool boats out there, including super yachts called Ginger. I mean, anyway. The power of the Ginga, that's all I'll say.
It's the power of the Ginga.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And of course, we've been having a bit of banter.
Oh, yes.
I mean, we mentioned his name last several weeks with our friend AMAM, Alistair Murray.
Yeah.
That was throughout the week. He thought he'd step it up. He's probably had enough of bloody Goggins taking the prize. So he even sent videos in.
Yes. Of his granddaughter, no less. So,
yes.
So if you live down this way, there's a region a town to the north of Australia and Indo, Phuket, spelt Phuket. And how do you pronounce that if you have never had that name? Anyway,
we'll put an E next to this episode.
So it's a beautiful family shot, Alistair there working away and the granddaughter chatting away, and she reads the name as you would. It's your territory, boss, less mine, but
she's obviously well educated and listened to the show quite a bit.
Yeah.
And pronunciation being fuck it.
Yes.
Yes.
And then everyone's lost it, right? And then Alistair's come back, we're laughing and said it's fantastic, and then they've explained it to her that it's Phuket, and she's heard it as a child.
And that's even funnier.
I love it. So anyway, for Goggins, the swear jar is getting stacked up even more. But so here was an entry it was a good one. The other one that was really interesting was I had a really good chat with. We've mentioned that we haven't taken sponsorship money from a lot of people. Like in the clothing,
from a lot of people.
No, there's
from
a lot of
anyone.
Well, we've taken it from no one, and one of them, obviously, clothing companies that are expanding on a global scale would benefit from it. And we're close to people across all the brands, but we're also, you and I are particularly close to Pat Langley, who runs Vicobi, and it was Pat's birthday the other day. Gave him a call, and he was into me, just trying to talk us up about the show and how much worth it is to a sponsor, because we don't really think we're worth that much. But he's just he gave it to me in the best possible
based on the professionalism that we put across.
But it was really important, and it was good to have a chat.
Are you being paid for this right now?
No, I'm giving free love.
you're not wearing your
I've got some Vico.
your V cold paddle pants as we speak.
You know, I don't
A
need
good paddle pant, by the way. I will admit.
Yeah, all the paddle gear is. He does some amazing gear, but I will admit I got the email once in the middle of winter saying, you know, the V cold gear out, and I was just sending him a note. I'm in Queensland, mate. I don't need any of this crap.
Yeah.
You know, it was obviously the bulk email, and they came back to me laughing hard. So yeah, it was good. But I think you can't win it, Bicey, but I reckon you could be the winner of the week because
yeah, go on.
I put that photo up of us together. You know? So an inflatable pool toy, which was a giant T-Rex dinosaur. It was gigantic in me, and I put that on the Facebook page. And, you know, I was thinking, oh, yeah, I've got Bicey here. I'm pretty funny.
Mate, I knew my response
You nailed me.
straight away.
Nailed me.
And so, yeah, for the listeners that haven't seen it, it was basically a big blow-up T-Rex, the massive head, all that sort of thing. Yeah. And what was your specific comment, mate? Me hanging out with my mate Bicey or something.
Yeah.
So I let the average punter just stew on it for a little bit, gave it a good 36 hours, and then the response is, mate, I think we all know who's got the big head and the short arms in this relationship.
It hurts, but it's true. Anyway, you destroyed me.
I think I even showed my wife that one.
Yeah.
I cracked a funny.
Yeah, you did. So, yeah, pick and choose amongst the winners there. I think AM's granddaughter was the winner for me. But
for sure.
Yeah, I love it. So we'll send her a 6-pack of beer.
AM might still have some, actually.
Yeah.
So,
actually, he was a supporter, wasn't he? Yeah, he's a good man.
Yeah.
All right, in terms of, the Defi Azimut. It's been going
Defi Azimut.
Yeah. I like the word defy better, though.
Yeah, Defi Azimut.
Yeah.
Mate, pretty cool event.
Super cool.
It'll be fantastic to be there. And just seeing, to tell you the truth, I've kind of lost where I am with these bloody boats now. Like new boats coming out.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, Boss, like if you look at it, so they had the speed run first, right? And then they've just done the 48 hours. The speed run, Charlie Dallon's still on top, mate.
The Ep177.
Ep177, she's still the fast. Like, it was super quick.
So what was it, 500 metres or something?
Like
so 2 minutes 43.
Yeah.
With the Chirale in 2 minutes 45.
Yeah.
No less.
Yeah, that's it.
And then, of course, our mate Charlie and the 11th Hour Racing Team on 2 minutes 53.
So if you go online, I'd suggest go to the IMICA page, MOCA page, and there's the tab there, and you can see the video from that, and you can see all the, because they took a few sponsors out with them. And what I found interesting was how far forward they are. Yeah. Everyone's racked right forward on the thing. So it is quite interesting to try and sort of stop them boosting or something. But once they're off, get the weight forward. But yeah, that was good. And then of course they've just had the 48-hour event, and it's sort of split into just basically a big triangle in the Bay of Certain Death, Bay of Biscay, and started out medium winds and then lightened off. And there was sort of 20 odd boats doing a single hander, and then most of the Volvo boats were fully crewed.
The Ocean Race 48 Azimut Challenge.
And 11th hour, so Ep177 wins the single hander, and 11th hour team won the crewed race. So that was very interesting from a lot of things.
What I found, 3 hours difference between the single handers and the fully crewed. I'm not sure what I would have thought, to tell you the honest truth.
Oh, look, I got to say, I'm surprised. We got to get Charlie on the show, because that boat, he owes us.
Go on.
No, that boat, that Pivia, that's the.
Oh yeah, no, we need to get Charlie on for sure.
That's the design, mate. Like that boat is just a rocket ship. She looks amazing. So all down to you, boss.
Well, yeah, there's a couple of red wines in that design.
If only they knew how much alcohol went to that designing that. But anyway, it's good to see that. So that was cool. Great fun for us to tune in on that one. So that's cool. Big announcement, of course, during the week from SailGP. They've added another
14. 14, none less.
Yeah.
For venues for the season.
Yes. Which is cool. So, I mean, they've been pretty smart about it. They've not basically added it in Europe and the US and in the Middle East. So places they've already been going to. So cost,
two in the Middle East, right?
Yeah. So they're going to Dubai in November. So next year they're just going to be. There was a little bit of gap, so they're still in Dubai in December. So in the Middle East in December. Sorry. So in terms of moving stuff around and cost, not too big. But in terms of spectator and opportunity, 14 events, which is going to be great. Obviously, the series continues to grow. You can't. There's no boats that are funded by Larry. Like, you need to have your own funding basically now.
Yep.
And so, they've managed to create quite a good series. So June through July, 12 months, it's non-stop sailing. Because the final this year is in May, and then we go straight into their first event in June. So away we go.
I'm looking forward actually to the end of the season based on our little predictions that we made at the start when we had Jody on the show.
Yeah.
To just see exactly where things are sitting.
Yeah. Well, the Kiwis are on fire at the moment, mate. Like, they're just,
going to be hard to take something away from them. And obviously, between Tom and Pete, just keep the banter up. And then, of course, like at their heels, close behind is, of course, Ben, who is the king of banter.
Yep.
So,
Yep. It's good. It's a great event. I'm so happy. We're so lucky to have this stuff nowadays. So super, super pumped to be able to sort of be.
And when's our next event? The 24th of September. So what's that next week? In Spain, Andalusia.
Yeah. And then I think they go to Dubai. I think from memory.
Yes, correct.
And then
early November,
Singapore, Australia, New Zealand, US would be my memory. Yep. Cool. Here's an interesting one for you, boys. They're hitting all the top sailors asking what the best beach, or the coolest.
I read this.
World's coolest yacht is, and it one kind of pissed off. We haven't been approached by yachting.
Well, don't worry, the rainbow will come out at some point.
But so the challenge has been thrown down because everyone's been nominating yachts, right? But of course, I'm assuming it was Moose. The best off the beach class the challenge has been thrown out there because the nomination for one of the coolest yachts in the world is been the Cherub. Now, all the Cherubs in the world have been bought up and are in New Zealand because Moose has just decided that the Cherub's the world's coolest boat. And
that's right, dragged out of sandpit. Well, that were sandpits, been turned into competing boats. But they've got quite the bloody fleet over there, let me tell you. So it doesn't actually. Unfortunately, they don't qualify for the world's coolest boat because there's none left in the rest of the world. They're all in New Zealand.
They're cool. Like the way they've got them set up now, they're pretty glamour little boats. They're good fun, I reckon. So
fast. And one of the boat which create a fantastic stepping stone for youth sailors. And given that experience of going fast, which, let's face it, kind of got to be the flashiest thing in town to get the attention these days. And the Cherub ticks those boxes, I've got to say.
Yeah, very cool. So anyway, there you go. Another challenge for the best off the beach boat that we threw out there. So good on. Etchell World start today. So we've
correct. We'll be keeping an eye on that one.
I wonder if any concertina boats. I'm going to call them concertina boats from now.
I was thinking of the piano accordion.
Yeah.
Michael Hill is over there representing the great nation of Australia.
Yep.
Be keeping an eye on that.
Yep.
So,
In cows.
yep. I haven't had a look at the weather, what they're going to be experiencing, but I'm sure it will be fruity nonetheless at some point in time.
I'll have a quick squeeze while we're just pull up where are we going. We've got to go to cows, don't we? Where are we?
And then, of course, we've got the Hobie Worlds, which are currently underway at the moment. So we're kind of coming to the end of Worlds season, let's call it, for the summer in the Northern Hemisphere.
We've got 470 Worlds. I think they're in October. We've got a few things that are still going on, but, geez, it's looking fruity at the moment right now. Probably, like there's a monster one just going straight down the English Channel there. Not too bad into cows. Yeah, no, she's lightening out pretty quick. Light. Well, it could be like the 5-0 World.
At time of recording, coming into the last star of the Star Worlds.
I think, yeah. So, just looking at that, it looks pretty much like it is going to. Pretty sure she's
top 4. So Diego Negri and Tonki Stepanovic are only 5 points off.
Yeah.
Followed by the man himself with the best moustache in yachting, Paul Kayard. And I noticed he ran a tight perm this week.
Oh, yes.
So he's in third. Followed by Eric Doyle.
Yeah.
So. And then there's quite a big gap to 5th.
Yeah, the 100th running of the Star World, so 100 years of stars. So yeah, congratulations, that'll be a good one. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will just let people know that as Bossy said, the season starts in Australia. That means the skiffs are back on, so there's some good streaming. I think they're showing a bit of 16s at the moment. Which is cool. I noticed a few of my old mates have dropped out of the 18s and into the 16s. The older blokes are zooming around in the 16s, which are good fun. So that's getting some TV coverage, but the 18s will be on soon. And, although the 18s, it'll be decimated, the field of 18s, because they'll all be on the Comanche these days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Comanche doesn't sail when it's 18-foot skiff day. So
I love it. Oh dear. There you go. Anyway, so that's the update, the Barkarati update. We've done and dusted, mate.
BK update. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you have yourself a good day, mate. And we've got a public holiday, of course, this week to mourn the passing of Her Majesty.
Yes.
So don't work yourself too hard, mate.
Well, I was just thinking.
Maybe get the wingding out. Well, you can't with the knee. No. What's the recovery time?
Another couple of weeks, I think. Not too bad. She's stiff, but I'll probably do some work today. Actually, I'll just do a bit of real work, and then because I missed that day, and I'm here about trying to make my clients happier. So
yeah, no, that's right. You're all for the client. I love
it. What about you, mate? Day of kids.
No, it's the big SANFL Grand Final here today. The mighty Roosters are playing the Redlegs, so I'll be keeping an eye on that and actually heading around for a bit of barbecue with my golfing mates, with the families to meet. Not sure if this is a good thing or not.
Right.
So we have a little clique, myself and my golfing mates. So all the wives are now going to meet, and it may come out that we actually play every week.
Ooh.
Which none of them actually know about.
Oh, yeah, I think you're in trouble, mate. You're in deep trouble.
No, not quite. But big week coming up. We're about to set off into sailing season here in Oz. So the weekends are about to disappear pretty quickly.
Well, I have to tell you a story of my own. As you know, got the knee surgery on Friday.
I thought it was a reduction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Of some description.
Anyway, Thursday night, Australia played New Zealand in the Bledisloe, the rugby. Oh my God! And the most controversial call in lot of Aussies unhappy Friday morning, really unhappy Friday morning. And
I even saw a few Kiwis come across like, oh, that was pretty ridiculous.
Pretty ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, my surgeon was Tim McMiniman, and his brother, Hugh McMiniman, played for Australian Rugby Union. So he was dark, and he came out, and I just said, oh, how you going this morning, Tim? He's going, oh, and we start talking rugby, and I just said, mate, do I need to put my surgery off another day?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hack in, hack out.
bloody. Anyway, so anyway, so we're done. We're done and dusted. But yeah, I'll be keen to get back to sailing, get on the fall, get going. So, but if you're a listener,
good mate,
get out there, get sailing. Remember to send in the name for the America's Cup 40 for
the AC 40, correct, for the Seppos. So Seppo McSeppo face.
Seppo McSeppo face is just right there. I love it. I can't wait. So send in, go crazy, and we'll send it in. I guarantee they'll send us something. You'll get something, all right? I guarantee.
100%.
Yeah, we can guarantee it. So, but yeah, just have a bit of fun. So, cheers at barkarate.com.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Love it.
All right, mate. Good one. See you, everyone.
Farewell. BP, fire it up. Oh, did you see the email from the photo from BP this week? He found the original words to the song in his scrapbook 18 years ago.
Wow.